Welcome. A couple of years ago, I decided to teach a unit on happiness in my world history and ancient civ sections, where students would learn about how modern psychology can be traced back to different philosophers throughout time. As I was teaching and students argued with me, as they often do, about what makes a happy person, one common theme struck me. The path to happiness seems to be less about thinking different thoughts and more about taking different actions. And it is true that much of behavior change is seen in this way. We cannot think ourselves into better thinking. We must act ourselves to better thinking. Perhaps this is why we tend to recognize sports as a positive thing for kids starting at a young age. We introduce them to groups of people who do what we want them to do. We indoctrinate them into a positive culture of shared behavior so that they learn to be leaders of their own lives. These students made a choice to do what Rutgers Prep students do because they want to be like the Rutgers Prep students they have seen. In turn, these athletes have made a choice to be on their given teams because they want to do what these teams do and be transformed into who these people are. For coaches, this is the beauty of our job every day. In the following speeches, you will hear from seniors who have spent time living the culture of RPS and in their final year learned to be leaders of that culture. The word leadership is often used broadly. I believe it's really nothing more than influence. And while the definition is simple, it is with what is done with that influence that has incredible power and complexity. And when I think of influence in RPS athletics terms, I think of two words, which when used in combination have the power to move even the most skeptical of teams and even the most challenging of circumstances. Passion, the love for what we do, and the object of much sacrifice, and service, the behavior of ego-free giving and care. Who would not follow someone with a deep love for what they do and combined with a desire to do what is best for others? The seniors that will speak today represent a class who has shown the best qualities of how we grow RPS athletes. Leaders of passion, leaders of service. When you become part of RPS, this is what you are choosing to become. You will hear these student athletes speak of what it means to reinstill a culture, pass a torch to underclassmen, commit to a goal, look outside of their team for support, inspiration, and direction, fight through adversity, always remembering that though there are many distractions, the goal is about us. It is also fitting today, at the same time that we celebrate the seniors on their dedication and influence, we also celebrate the induction of the newest member of the RPS Athletics Hall of Fame. There comes a rare occasion that influence and leadership may be sourced from a younger voice whose passion and service is strong beyond their age. Reflected in his captainship starting as a sophomore, this was the story for Jason Wink, our newest inductee, who spearheaded 4 years of great RPS boys soccer teams from the 01 to 04 fall seasons. Jason was named freshman honorable mention All-State, sophomore second team All-State, junior and senior first team All-State. He was a 3-time MVP, and in his time, Rutgers Prep won 3 state championships in his 4 years. Jason continued his career at Johns Hopkins University, where he graduated with a double major in biology and economics. Post-graduation from Hopkins, Jason attended the University of Pennsylvania Medical School, followed by his residency there. Jason's coaches remember him as a champion who possessed high levels of skill and effectively distributed the ball to teammates. But for me, an unskilled soccer-playing freshman, Jason was an intimidating upperclassman who led from the front, an aggressive player who put his body on the line and was not afraid to mix it up in 50-50 balls. He was a relentless worker who honed his craft year-round. He pushed his teammates hard and expected from those around him the same high standard that he held for himself. The skill, the athleticism, and the accolades were impressive, but ultimately I believe Jason's induction today can be summed up best by a famous quote from the legendary UNC women's soccer coach Anson Dorrance. The vision of a champion is somebody who is bent over, drenched in sweat, at the point of exhaustion when nobody else is watching. This was Jason to a T, and I'm delighted to welcome him into the RPS Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Ryan, for those very kind words. It's been a long time since those days. And I have to say, you picked a very apropos quote, as my wife is a very proud UNC alumni. It's an honor, absolute honor to be back here. I never really thought I'd be standing in this position. I just have a few short words just to impart on everyone here. I found out I was inducted into the Rutgers Prep Sports Hall of Fame about 2 years ago. I've been looking forward to this day since then, trying to figure out what I would say. When I found out the news, I was nearing the end of my surgery residency, and I think I was honestly more excited about the Hall of Fame induction than actually getting a real job. I actually think my father was probably more excited than anyone. I honestly could never imagine that I would be inducted into any Hall of Fame, but to be perfectly honest, I was a pretty solid player back in the day. Before I get into the inspirational part of my speech, I want to thank all my family members and acknowledge the people that are here today with me. My parents, Alan and Donna, I think they honestly missed taking me to all of my soccer practices and games. Now they honestly are taking it out on my daughter, Sophie. My cousins, Muriel and Michael, who I'm sure don't miss the stories of my athletic exploits at every holiday meal. My grandmother, who I can vividly remember picking me up from practice when I was a freshman, having dinner with me at a pizza place down the street on Easton Avenue, and then driving me to another soccer practice. I'm sure she doesn't miss those days. My father-in-law, Mel, who when I invited him remarked, "I've seen someone inducted to the Hall of Fame at Cooperstown. Is this like that?" Lastly, I want to thank my beautiful wife, Kate, and our daughter, Sophie. I'm absolutely honored that they can be here today to see where I came from and sharing this special moment. Sophie is almost 3 years of age and has already been playing soccer for about 2 years. At this point, it seems her skills are far superior than the other 3-year-olds. I also want to thank my Rutgers Prep teammates and coaches. Just to name a few people, Rick Halmo, Mike Manning, my co-captains when we were seniors, Elliot Feldman, Greg Zimmerman, Lee Newman, Jason Carr, Alex Michaels, John Hobbs, our goalkeeper, Aaron Shalell, who was a senior on the team when I was a freshman, and we actually reconnected during my surgical residency at Penn, as he was an anesthesiologist in training also. He was actually the first one to reach out to me and say congratulations. I want to thank all my Rutgers Prep coaches, Bob Zellis, Larry Sanawaso, Scott Gill. I still have the occasional nightmares of preseason conditioning, but I know these are the experiences that shape me. So, in preparation for this speech, I would like to admit I watched a number of Hall of Fame induction speeches on YouTube. Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson, just to name a few. And honestly, I don't have a story about being cut my freshman year. I actually made the team. So I don't want to sound like an NCAA commercial telling all of you that most of you will go pro in something other than sports. But the truth is they're actually right. However, there is no doubt the lessons I learned right over there on the Rutgers Prep field I carry with me every day. These are some of my best memories from high school. I learned how to be a leader on that field, the ability to lead by example at all times, and to work together as a team to reach a common goal. I gained my competitive edge that undoubtedly helped get me through a tough surgery residency. If you actually want to learn about a competitive edge, you guys should actually watch the Michael Jordan YouTube video. It's quite impressive. I know that my athletic career had some ups and downs as well. I definitely learned how to overcome some adversity. Missing that final penalty shot in the county's tournament still gives me chills to this day. These are just a few of the examples I took away from my career at Rutgers Prep. These lessons have now become essential to my life as a young attending plastic surgeon at the University of Pennsylvania. Every day I'm leading a team in the operating room, working with other surgeons and healthcare providers to tackle very difficult problems. And honestly, as a surgeon, things don't always go your way, and you must learn how to bounce back from adversity. My time as an athlete at Rutgers Prep taught me all of this. There is no question that lessons learned playing sports are applicable throughout the professional world. This is the reason that former athletes are sought after in all professional fields. So for most of you out there that will not be playing professional sports, just know that the lessons learned on this field and the friends you make will carry with you long after you finish your career at Rutgers Prep. Lastly, the final comment I will make is that people ask me all the time, would you rather be playing professional soccer or doing what you do as a surgeon? The answer I always give resoundingly is to be playing professional soccer. I still remain a big fan to this day. So thank you again to everyone at Rutgers Prep for this tremendous honor, and congratulations to all the other award winners out there. Thank you.
As one of my favorite athletes, Alex Morgan, said, "Winning and losing isn't everything. Sometimes the journey is just as important as the outcome." Well, our journey for the sports teams in the fall was pretty successful. 3 conference championships, cross country, girls soccer, and girls tennis, 1 prep championship, and 1 sectional championship. All conference selections included 9 from girls soccer, 4 from volleyball, 4 girls tennis, and 5 from boys soccer. Also, I have to add that the girls soccer team led the state with the #1 offense and a first-team All-State player. Success is important, and while we achieved a lot, as was the case with much of the world around us, COVID put things into perspective. For programs and organizations, it tested the foundation of the culture. It forced people to recognize and value what was most important in their lives. COVID opened the eyes of fall athletes to the privilege of play, with freshmen missing out on their intro year, sophomores missing their developmental year, and juniors missing their peak recruitment year. Just the ability to play became a joy no longer taken for granted.
For RPS fall sports, COVID left a large question looming. Would teams so highly dependent on group dynamics and leadership be able to fill the void created by the pandemic? The class of 2022 fall athletes would step into their role with an especially large responsibility to introduce a majority of teammates who had not seen the norms of RPS athletics back into the behaviors and beliefs that make up the team's cultures. In the end, the most meaningful portion of fall could not be seen or published. What perspired was a solidification of who we are and what we believe, a return to some normalcy, and most importantly, the passing of a torch. These 5 teams shared a common theme, a combination of veteran seniors who were not only 4-year varsity members of their teams, but also excellent community members paired with eager, talented young men and women.
Morgan, Layla, and Asia passed the torch. They showed what it meant to expect a standard of excellence and high performance. Christian and Michael passed the torch. They taught younger athletes how to be assertive, lead from the front, and take ownership. Simran, Ashani, Veena, and Anushka passed the torch. They showed their teammates what it means to be competitive and strong leaders. Ro, Ryan, and Eric passed the torch. They led by example, teaching others how to tolerate pain and be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Anaya, Maya, and Jasmine passed the torch. They taught dedication, commitment, and volition to younger athletes. Sam, Peyton, and Liz passed the torch. Their underclass teammates saw what it meant to be mature, a good example, and a great teammate. Cultures are complex. They involve a collection of people sharing similar set of rituals, practices, and behaviors. When new people are introduced into a culture, it tends to shift slightly as new members bring their experiences and talents. In turn, we choose to be a part of cultures that we want to have an impact on. Today, we honor a group of seniors who ensure that RPS cultures prioritize the values of our school and who we want to be in the moving forward. Thank you.
Now for the fall sport coaches, MVPs, and coaches awards. Fall sport coaches, can you come on up here? For girls tennis, coaches award goes to Juliette Beaumontsor. For girls tennis, MVP Simran Vig. For boys soccer, coaches award Christian Wright. For boys soccer, MVP Michael Chodel. For girls soccer, coaches award Addison Halpem. and MVP Melina Rabimbis. For boys cross country coaches award, Ryan Kokoska. And the MVP, Ro Atre. For girls cross country, the Coaches Award, Chloe Escanillas. Girls cross country Coaches Award, Kira Wise. For volleyball, Coaches Award, Peyton Beck. And the MVP, Annalise Sanawaso. Each year, an outstanding female athlete from each high school in New Jersey is honored in a statewide award ceremony, where outstanding high school and college, university female athletes are represented with special awards from the National Association for Girls and Women in Sport. This year's recipient embodies the best qualities of excellence in sportsmanship and athletics. She was a 4-year contributing member of the girls' soccer and girls' basketball teams, where she took home hardware in both, winning 2 state titles, 3 county championships, and 5 conference championships. This year's award winner's determination and focus is matched only by her big smile and joyful energy. Congratulations, Layla Castro. Each year, Rutgers Prep Athletics nominates 2 candidates, a male and a female, as the NJISAA Award recipient. The NJISAA is the governing body of prep schools with similar size and mission. Recipients of this award embody the ideals of prep school sports, showing an outstanding balance of achievement in the classroom, leadership in extracurricular activities, and success in their given sport or sports. This year's male recipient has been a dominant force for the boys' swim program for 4 years, racking up countless individual accolades in county, conference, and state meets. This year's female recipient has been a leader in every sense of the word, a strong, selfless presence on both girls volleyball and girls lacrosse teams through her 4 years. Both candidates have an uncanny ability to brighten up the room they walk into, whether it be academic, athletic, or extracurricular in nature. I'm pleased to honor our NJISAA Award winners, to Peyton Beck and Jason He.
It's hard to encapsulate the winter athletic season because they are so different from one another. One is played on a mat, one is swam in a pool, and one is on a court. One has 25-second event, one has a 2-minute period, and one has 8-minute quarters. But at Rutgers Prep, these sports may have more in common than you think. At RPS, we tend to dive in basketball, dunk in swimming, and shoot in wrestling. It is no secret that the winter season was full of high achievement. Girls basketball was county champ, sectional champs, state champs, and TOC runner-up. And right behind was the boys basketball with conference champs and for the first time ever, sectional champs. These winter sports teams were also no strangers to individual accolades, placing over 15 individuals on all conference teams, 5 on all non-public teams, a trip to regions in wrestling, and 6 future athletes. Can we please give them a round of applause?
Whether we are working for a state championship, a personal best, or a new experience, the goals may be different. What makes our school beautiful is the ability to come together with mutual respect. If you are to judge the winter season, judge it based not on what happened after school, but what happened the next day at morning meeting when all the athletes of winter sports at all levels and all abilities came together to announce upcoming events and accomplishments. This is the beauty of who we are and where we have chosen to be. We show that we can be committed, we can dedicate ourselves. We can drive toward a goal and be able to look outside of the cultures of our team to help a non-athlete friend, to welcome a new perspective or embed ourselves in a new culture. Many of us played other sports, led clubs, or had honors in community service.
What is seen by the parents, the fans, and the media is glamorous and polished, but there is something really special about just existing together. The void space that will be etched in our shared memories forever. The winter sports teams know this all too well. If you play basketball, you know that game days involve hours of eating, cheering, and spending time in the locker room from the time that the freshman and JV team warm up at 3 o'clock to the varsity start time at 7. If you wrestle, you will inevitably look back on 4 years of all-day tournaments, sleeping across each other on gym mat corners, and not eating or gorging together. And if you are a swimmer, you will revel in the memories of pizza parties, musical van rides to the pool, sleepy van rides back, and full-day meets. The smell of chlorine is inescapable. At the end of it all, at Rutgers Prep, you will always know that there is a community to return to, where the cheering is genuine, your classmates are supportive, and the teams are close but not exclusive. We choose to be part of this because we know that our talents and achievements are only meaningful if there are those around us to celebrate.
Our winter award winners are as follows. Boys basketball, our Ron Jackowitz Award and MVP, Jaden Collins. And our co-MVP is Ryan Pettit. Our girls basketball MVP is Malika Blakes. And the Pegeen O'Connell Sportsmanship Award goes to Taylor Repollet. Wrestling MVP, Preston Harduby. And our Robert Doherty Ironman Award, Jackson Littman. Girls swimming, Our MVP is Carly Tomfort. And our Coaches Award, Raina Desai. For boys swimming, our MVP, Jeremy Martino. I'm sorry, Coaches Award, I apologize. And our MVP, Jason Haight.
I'm proud to announce the scholar athletes that were named in the Skyland Conference and the NJSIAA. First, our two scholar athletes representing the Skyland Conference were honored at an awards ceremony with all of the other Skyland Conference winners and represented us very well. They have shown leadership on the tennis courts, on the lacrosse field, on the basketball courts. I'm very proud to honor our Skyland Conference scholar athletes, Simran Big and Ryan Pettit. Each year, every member school selects a senior who, one, plays an NJSIAA varsity sport, two, possesses a cumulative grade point average of no less than 3.0, and three, exhibits outstanding school and community citizenship to be honored at the annual Scholar Athlete Awards. This athlete was not just an athlete in the swimming pool, but was also head cheerleader on the team, was also the head recruiter on the team, trying to fill the team with a bunch more just like him. I'm very, very proud to give the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association Award to Jeremy Martino.
The Junior Coaches Cup awards are presented annually to a male and female student athlete in the junior class who have had a significant positive impact on the overall athletic program at Rutgers. The recipients of the Coaches Cup are selected by the varsity head coaches. They have demonstrated distinguished athletic achievement, leadership, and sportsmanship in their chosen sports at Rutgers. The two winners are much deserving, and all the head coaches are extremely pleased with the winners. Female recipient played 3 sports, and all of her coaches agree that she never gives less than 100% effort on a daily basis. Her work ethic and her positive attitude are infectious, and she is a leader with her teammates. We are pleased and honored to give the Junior Coaches Cup to Julia Parma. The male recipient also played 3 sports and is a huge part of the teams he plays on. Whether running his best time in the biggest race of the season, or helping his baseball team to a prep championship, or joining the swim team after playing basketball the prior year, all his teammates in all the sports love playing with him, and he has a positive outlook and an energy that is contagious. We are pleased and honored to give the Junior Coaches Cup to James Jackson.
The 2022 RPS Gentlemen's Tennis Team used the saying to describe their team mentality, "This stuff we." Translated from Belizean Creole, it means, "This is for us." And while this was the mantra for gentlemen's tennis, it seems to encapsulate much of the cultures of the spring sports this year. Counter to how it may sound, the saying is not a selfish pursuit of victory, but quite the opposite. It is a mindset of teams to understand only they will be the ones to truly understand the trials of their journey. In sports, it's easy to focus on the shining star, the overtime win, or the record set. But what ultimately defines a champion is his or her behavior in the face of physical pain, emotional volatility, and psychological challenge. It's easy to gauge the defining characteristics of an individual champion, but what defines great team is a mutual understanding. Every challenge brings with it a lesson.
All Rutgers Prep sports were hit hard with the impacts of COVID, but none faced more heartbreak than that of the spring season. With an entire season stripped away and another cut short, it felt as though everything was taken from us. But what didn't disappear were our teammates. There can be much commentary made from outside sources on teams whose wins and losses often only tell a fraction of the story, and shed a little light on the inner team dynamics. The relationships made during COVID was something to be remembered. Do not take relationships for granted. Relationships are not temporary. They can very well last a lifetime. Even when they end, just like an athletic season, there are lessons to be learned, other relationships to be maintained, and memories to be cherished.
The resilience of the spring athletes was put on full display the past 2 years, as teams compiled prep championships, conference championships, and countless individual honors, and created success in other small ways, such as increased roster sizes, first-year players, and incredible character in the face of adversity. At the end of the day, the journey was all about us, the brothers and sisters to our left and to our right, striving for excellence, whether the stands are packed, the stands are empty, during a sunny May day at Patriot Stadium, or a snowy or rainy day on the RPS turf, whether playing full strength or with a plague of injury, officials making good calls or officials making bad calls, shut down by a pandemic or with a pandemic looming over us. The journey was always about us, taking one step forward in the best way we knew how, doing it all together.
The following are the Spring Coaches Awards and MVPs. Baseball, the Coaches Award goes to James Jackman. MVP Award, Andrew Parisi. For softball, the Coaches Awards, we have 2 of them. One goes to Shelley Jean-Baptiste. And the other Coaches Award goes to Ella Klopfer. Boys Lacrosse. Coaches Award winner, Preston Harduby. The MVP, Ryan Pettit. Girls lacrosse. Coach's award goes to Gabby Langren. And the MVP goes to Maggie Turco. In golf, the Coach's Award goes to Jesse Kleinman. And your MVP for golf, Chris Patel. Boys tennis, Coach's Award winner, Simon Wang. Boys tennis MVP, Tanay Patel.
I stuttered.
Each year, the high school principals nominate 2 students from each school, 1 male and 1 female, who have earned recognition for their work in the classroom and at athletics. The ceremony for the Somerset County Scholar Athletes was held earlier this month. Our first recipient, Nick Baldev, was a member of the baseball team for the past 4 years. He was part of the back-to-back Prep State Championship teams and this year's team that have made it to both the Prep State and Somerset County finals. Academically, he has taken challenging coursework, and his work has paid off. He is headed to Swarthmore next year, and we wish him success. Nick Baldev is the male Somerset County Athlete Award winner. The other recipient is Liz Ramage. Liz was a member of the swim team, a baseball manager, and a 4-year member of the volleyball team. This year, Liz served as the captain of the volleyball team as well. In her spare time, she also served as class president. Academically, Liz always looked to challenge herself and excelled. Liz is headed to Duke next year, and we will all miss you, Liz. Liz Ramage is the female Somerset County Scholar Athlete Award winner. I have a surprise award. 12 letter winner awards are presented annually to those students in the Rutgers Prep senior class who have earned a varsity letter during the fall, winter, and spring seasons of each of his or her 4 years at Rutgers Preparatory School. As you may imagine, this is an incredibly challenging feat. To me, this award represents commitment, discipline, and sacrifice. And these would be the exact words that I would use to describe this year's recipient. I like to call this young man a throwback to another era of athletics for his love of play. On the grass, the turf, the court, a blacktop, a spike ball court, or a tiddlywinks table, if there is a game, Ryan Kokoska will be there to compete. It is my pleasure to award this 12-letter winner recognition to Ryan Kokoska. Before we have Dr. Lloyd close here, I just wanted to make a quick note to all the students and families here. In the next couple of hours, you'll be receiving a full digital program from today's ceremony for all your all that went on today. I invite you to read through it. There's a lot of good stuff in there, passages written by our coaches summarizing the season and some of our leaders on each team. So look out for that as it comes through soon. Thank you.
So when we finish, I invite you to join us for lunch, dining commons, and seniors, if you recognize yourself on one of these panels, come up, except for you, Jeremy, because you weren't an MVP, only the coach. So you get a hat. Before there were streaming videos, before there was cable TV, before there were movie theaters, before there was radio, the excitement was when the circus came to town. Circus would roll in by train early in the morning. They'd set up. People would come to the tent, see the performance, and they'd break down the tent, pack up everything in the dead of night, get on the train, go to the next town. The Ringling Brothers were probably the #1 circus in America. And for a period of time, it wasn't the tiger or the lion, it wasn't the trapeze artist, it was the 600-pound walrus that everybody came to see. Imagine being in the middle of Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Arkansas. And the circus was coming to town and you got to see a 600-pound walrus. But in order to get that walrus to your town, there had to be a special train car set up that would accommodate the water, that would accommodate the size of this 600-pound walrus. And when you got to town, Ringling Brothers had to send a crew to the next town to buy 75 pounds of fish. So it was waiting for the train when the walrus came to the next town. There was so much going on behind the scenes that no one that attended the circus had any idea what was going on. They just bought their ticket, showed up, had a good time. And that's kind of what happens in sports. You've got people that are setting up practice, buying equipment. You have athletic trainers. You have people that have to make sure that the schedule's right, that the transportation is set up, that the officials are confirmed. So when we say thank you, it's like the circus. We typically applaud for the people who are in the stands and who showed up, and we say, I really hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for being. And as athletes, we all know what it means to have family and friends in the stands cheering you on. And it's been so nice to be back watching athletics, playing sports, being involved in the challenge to see if on that afternoon or that evening, we're good enough to win. And if we are good enough to win, we humbly appreciate it. If we're not good enough to win, figure out a way to get better the next time. But there's so much going on behind the scenes. I want you to think about all the people that show up or that go to the next town and buy 75 pounds of fish to make sure that when you show up It's the best it can possibly be. Being a student athlete anywhere is a blessing. Being a student athlete at Rutgers Prep, it's an extraordinary experience. It's a remarkable opportunity, but there are a lot of people that are involved in making sure this happens. And to all of them and to all of you, thank you.